Hey, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with Aaron Toes 'em Up Toe, training out of Combat Academy under Dan Hooker. How are you, bro?
Good, brother. Good. What's happening?
Bro, hey, I was watching an interview or maybe some information on one of the Kiwi channels, and it said Aaron Toes of Ngā Puia Ngāti Toro. What's that?
So that's like my iwi and my hapu. So it's like pretty much my tribe that I'm from, my lineage that goes back. Yeah. So that's what we call ourselves. It's like a group, the far north of New Zealand. Got a bit of a bad stigma to our name because back in the day we did a few raids and took over a few places that weren't ours. So yeah, not really a you either really like Ngāpuhi or you really don't like Ngāpuhi. So yeah, that's where I'm from, bro, and I ripped that hard out.
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, it brings me to why one of the things while I was doing a bit of research on you, bro, I listened to a great podcast by Richie Hardcore. It's called Some of My Favorite People. He had a talk with you, man. And you went through a lot of your history and background on that, man. I'd recommend anyone that's interested to have a listen because it's very interesting. And you went into that, right? Your history and where you're from, right?
Yeah, and just the way that we grew up and like generational trauma stuff that you kind of get stuck with, and just how I kind of overcame certain cultural things that would happen, and yeah, just about being a man and how sometimes the stigma of being tough is misconstrued to having a hard shell and that kind of thing. So yeah, Richie's a cool guy, bro. He's got a cool platform and he does heaps of good stuff. Like yeah, he really puts people in positions where they can share that kind of thing. So that, yeah, cool experience, and he's a good guy.
What was interesting about your story was like you went through a difficult childhood with some domestic violence, etc. But you kind of came out the other end, understanding what you are, and you managed to change your sort of thinking. And what was interesting was you said that part of that, well, largely part of that was due to magic mushrooms, right? Switching your brain. I think you mentioned something like rearranging the library in your brain, and that's a spin out, man, to hear that.
Yeah. Well, what comes along with those kind of environments, you try to find escapes and that kind of thing, and one of them is obviously drugs, and I'm lucky enough that I found something that nurtured my soul instead of made everything worse. So yeah, I use it as kind of like what we call a rungwa in Maori. It's like a medicine, and I got friends that are deeper into this kind of stuff with yogis, and shout out to Yogi Brad and the Holistic Hub. But yeah, you find a way where it unlocks part of yourself where you can analyze things from a third person perspective, and that gives you power over yourself, because at a certain point you have to take responsibility for yourself, and it's difficult because when things are out of your control, you start to feel like you get that victim mentality, and I feel like things like that, when you use them in the right way, give you it's like a new tool to the toolbox, and it's helped me a lot just to overcome things and just reestablish what's important, and how sometimes, well, the worst things in my life that have happened to me have given me the best things. So yeah, how I'm the proof that it kind of does something good. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more accepted these days than when I was doing it.
Yeah, man. And nowadays, I mean, you got guys like, Joe Rogan and Mike Tyson and that are right into hallucinogens and different things. And they're the same thing. They talk about, making them better people and opening their minds and that. So, the fight community now understand these things in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and before, well, in the 90s, like, hallucinogens were like taboo, like even marijuana, like 10 years ago, you couldn't really talk about it to people, but now it's a lot. I'm having conversations with my grandma about dope, So yeah, the cultures change with everything, and I think with that there's opportunities for things that were stuck with a bad stigma to get reevaluated, and people will have the opportunity to learn new things. And it's only by, if you're doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result, you know. So sometimes something abstract like that is going to help your life, which is, yeah, that's what everyone wants, isn't it? An easier life. Well, not so much easier, but one that they can understand.
That's it, man. And on the same note, man, do you find like because of your background, do you think that training like a combat sport and fighting and competing is therapeutic for you as well?
100%. Yeah, there's no doubt that that's. I tell people all the time, like, I would fight regardless of the situation. It's just, I don't know if it's part of my genes or my DNA or some part of me. Maybe it's the trauma, and I'm just as a response to that. I don't know how to explain it, but I know for a fact that if I didn't have this outlet, like mixed martial arts and cage fighting and kickboxing and boxing and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and if I didn't find those things, I would have ended up in a different environment that promoted those same things. Like, you know, I would have probably joined a gang pretty young, because they're the only people that like young teens that are, they just want to be violent. And well, when I say violent, they just want to use their testosterone, you know. Like, you, I think that's the part of us that we forget, is like, we're still animals, bro. We're not long evolved, you know. So we still have those instincts that need to be met. And I think training, I go to training, I can punch my friends in the face, kick them, try and choke them, throw them around the room. But the difference between that and like not having that is, if I did that to anyone else, I'd go straight to jail. I'd be locked up, and then I'll end up with worse people. And then I'll do the same thing there, because that's just my personality. That's how I behave. So we're definitely lucky that we have mixed martial arts, and that we can
Channel
what's the
that
word?
energy, right?
Yeah. Because well, in our culture, we have a god of war, right? Called Tumatoinga. And there's times where you enter his realm, and why times when you're in Rongo, which is like the calm healing realm. And in our concepts, you enter into those places and out of those places in like in 5D, right? So we could be in a situation, I mean, you're just chatting, we're all good, and then all of a sudden something changes, but we change realms, you know, like we change it to Tumatoinga. And it's just like, it's helped me understand that that's like a part of me, that realm, and that just wanting or needing to be violent and defend myself is a part of me. And if I don't express it, which that was the word I was looking for, expression, if you don't express it, then it's going to come out in a way that you can't control. Or, you know, maybe you get on the piss with your friends and you accidentally well, you don't accidentally, but you get too drunk, and then you've got all this bottled up anger or testosterone, or, like, you know, these things that you could have let go just by exerting some kind of energy, and then you end up doing something stupid. So yeah, it's definitely, we're definitely blessed to have these arts and these places to put those parts of ourselves, because yeah, I think life would be very different if we didn't.
Yeah, man. And I'm a strong believer that you take a lot from your parents, man. Like, and I'm not just talking about what you learn with your eyes. I think they actually take things through their like DNA and everything. I heard it before a bit, and I see it in my own kids. You know that they'll do
Yeah.
things that you do without you even
You haven't taught them it yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird, right? And so yeah, in that respect, you know, you mentioned your dad, the aggressive sort of guy. He trained himself, right? And and then some of those things are got to come through you, right? And it's good that you're finding the right sort of you know, sport and everything to focus on to kind of take away the bad side and turn it into a positive, which is something you kind of talked about a little bit in your last podcast too, right?
Yeah. I probably would be locked up if I didn't have this sport, so I'm pretty lucky because I can express it in the right way. And like this is the thing. When I was a kid, I always wanted to fight. I just loved it. Or any kind of like physical altercation, like rugby league, like wrestling, just all that kind of stuff excited me, and I felt good when I was doing it. And so, like this stuff is a savior. It's perfect for us.
Yeah, bro. And I wanted to talk to you a bit about how your Maori history, ties in with our fighting. That you've touched on it a bit, but how does it sort of integrate, man, from from the history of the culture to them being in a competitive sort of realm in fighting?
Well, yeah, like that tuma toinga thing, like stepping into those realms, like it's part of my culture. The God of War, like we can, what's called whakapapa, we can trace our lineage back to the God of War and to those times. So for us, well, for me, and I find like we're the Maori battalion is really well known. Like we're a warrior race, and I'm just an expression of that. I'm just a part of someone that was a long time ago that I feel like is still alive, and they live through me. The spirit of their force lives through me, and that's why I love to fight, and that's why I want to do this kind of thing. That's why I thrive and enjoy all these situations that most people would trying to avoid. So it's a big part of my culture, like the haka and us going to war, and um, just our overall the way we handle things in my culture, and especially in my tribe, my iwi, and in the last couple of 100 years, we were one of the only cultures to stop the English army. They had to make a treaty with us, even though it didn't really go too well for us. But that's just it's a part of me, and I feel like I'm grateful that I get to do this stuff, because someone wants to pay me to punch someone else in the head as hard as I can for 15 to 25 minutes. Hey, sign me up, because I would have done it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually said
Yeah,
that before. I remember you said you can beat people up, get paid, not go to jail. So why not, eh? Why not do it in the
that that
competitive realm?
that to me, when I was a kid, if you told me that I'll be doing this, like I'll be trying to bash people for money, I wouldn't have believed you. And I thought I would think that no, well, I must be a hitman then. But yeah, to do this and not get in trouble, and for me to support my family and inspire my friends and the younger generation to do good with their life, like I'm winning, bro. I'm winning, and I'm already winning, and I'm just gonna keep winning, because that's just what I do.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned about that you want people and yourself to be proud of the Maori culture and that. How do you look at the guys like Shane Young and Kai Kara France and that are making the culture a little bit more mainstream? They're bringing a little bit to the international stage now. Yeah.
That's beautiful, bro. It's beautiful to see our people rise. You know, like we were the warrior race, and like they're bringing it to the forefront, and reminding people about our culture and making it cool to be Maori. You know, 100 years ago or so, when they tried to kill our language and our culture, it wasn't cool to be Maori. The large generation before me, like my dad and them, they can't speak Maori because their parents it was beaten out of them. So for me to see the Maori flag on the world stage, where millions of people get to see it, and they find out about our culture because of those boys like Stina Pukana, oh brother, that kind of stuff just, it lights a fire inside me, and inspires me, because yeah, I wanna also add to that, and share what is the Maori culture, and it's a beautiful culture, bro. It's all the best parts about it. That's the thing, is like the main parts of Maori culture no one knows about yet, but they're so cool, bro. They're so cool, and it's like it's a welcoming culture, it's a caring culture, it's a loving culture, and it's a tribal thing. Like you there's a thing, manaakitanga and whanaungatanga. Like manaakitanga is like taking care of your people. That's a staple part of our culture. Whanaungatanga is having those people. have been around your family and interacting with them and having that connection with them, that's like a stable part of our culture. Tika pono me te aroha is like one of the most important ones. This is tika is being correct, pono is being truth, and then aroha is love. You know, those are the parts of our culture that sit behind the warrior that does a pukana. So that's the cool thing, is with them raising the flag for us, it's helping it become more mainstream and accepted and cool. And I can't wait to add to that wairua and that spirit. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, man. And talking with before talking with Shane Young, I got a good feeling that the Maori culture has that strong connection to the earth, right? And that's something that you can say when you take the positive from your experience with your dad and everything. When you take the positive from that, I think that's something he did give you, right? Which is a connection with nature and how to, survive and all this sort of thing, which is something that's, at least that's a positive thing, right?
Hard. I'm lucky as, bro. I grew up, other than all that negative stuff, I had a mean upbringing. I rode horses and hunted and fished and dove for all that for food. I got taught how to grow gardens since I could pull out weeds. Like that, that's a part of me, and no matter what, no one can take that from me. I've always got it, no matter where I go in the world. I try and keep those things alive and teach them to my kids, because it's kind of getting lost these days. Everyone's so absorbed in technology, and they're forgetting the most important thing is we are a part of nature. And if you can live in harmony with it, you can survive without money and without your need for attention. It's a lot more peaceful, and it's a lot more prosperous, in my opinion.
And yeah, Shane mentioned like when he was, I think maybe he was not feeling that well. He mentioned about reconnecting with the land, as a young Maori man, which is, something that a lot of people could probably look to, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of our whakatauki, like our proverbs and stuff, tell you about how to heal your spirit and how to heal your soul and your body. If you do feel those certain ways, and a lot of them is just to go home and experience the winds of your home and on the mountains of your home, and swim in the river. And because I don't know, physiologically or psychologically, like something heals you, and having that connection to be from some place, I feel gives you that motherly nurture. That you feel like you're being taken care of. And sometimes you just need a hug, bro. You need to go give mom a hug, bro, and that's gonna fix you up. And then you're back to fighting the world again. So yeah, that all that stuff is a deep part of our culture, and I find it is really important for your mental health. Like, your mental health has a lot to do with how you feel about the world around you. And if you can find somewhere that holds you down, then it's easier to go out and find rough waters, and survive them, and want to survive them.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned like before about you gardening and hunting and all that too. So you got the connection, just not with the land, but with the animals on the land too. And something that spun me out about your story before was that you mentioned your father like had you to raise a sheep, and then eventually had to kill it, which is obviously hard for a young kid, But the funny thing is that actually, have you ever heard of a boxer called Costa Zoo?
Yeah, I know who Kostazu is. Yeah, I
Super
had
famous
a
one.
rat's tail like
You covered him.
Kostazu.
Yeah. Did you might not even know, he actually had someone, he did that when he was a kid too, to an extent. His I don't know if it was his dad or his coach, gave him a chicken and let him raise a chicken, and then made him kill it as well. So it's kind of funny that you guys are aligned in that way, because it's obviously something that hardens people and something to do with fighting, right?
It just teaches you. This is my take from it. It's like it teaches you the fragileness of life, and how you're actually connected to nature, right? Like, you can't survive without these animals. You're gonna die if you don't eat. But your willingness to want to survive is what helps you get past all of those things. And you also don't take life for granted. Like, you don't want to go out there and just hurt somebody or kill somebody, because Like, you know what life is. You had to take it when, you know, quite young, and you understand that that's not something that you really want to do, but you do out of necessity for your life, for survival. So like, those acts make you want to fight for your life, and also make you want to take care of life and nurture life. And that was my take from it. Well, I don't know if that's how you're meant to take it, but he never really explained it.
Yeah. I mean, even if he didn't mean to, just to gives you that respect for life is a big part, like you said, man. I mean, that's a good lesson for anyone, man. I mean, growing up, I used to just fish a lot and that, and I wasn't allowed to kill anything unless it was for eating. And I think it's good that people are like that. That you're not gonna, like you said, take life for granted and just kill animals for no reason, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we weren't allowed to kill something unless we're eating it. If something died because of us, we were eating it. Like, and that was because back in the day they actually didn't have a lot of food. You know, when once they had all their guarding and that stopped, and they were put in those positions, like, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they were starting to get reliant on the system and stuff. You know.
Yeah, man. And speaking of killing things and guys that could kill things, you train under Dan Hooker, Rod McSwain, Gareth Ely, etc. at Combat Academy. How do you find it training out of there? Like, you've trained in different places in Australia and then back in New Zealand. How do you find over there?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, there's obviously Dan Hooker, Gareth Ely, Rod McSwain, and then you got Mark Timms, Kieran Joblin, and then obviously cross train at City Kickboxing. Like, I've got the best coaches in the world, bro. And you give a hungry man the right tools, and he'll catch anything. So yeah, they're all killers. They all work really hard. They'll have really good work ethic. They're smart about the way that they do things. They're always trying to evolve and adapt and overcome. Like, I am beyond lucky that I scored that scholarship with Dan a couple years ago, and it's only just getting better. Like, the fruits are just starting to come. You know, like, we've been working for the last 3 years, and then I think Kieran and Gareth came a year and a half, 2 years ago ish, and you know, so my wrestling, my cage wrestling, and with Kieran, and just the overall different look of techniques, with the kickboxing style and boxing style, and then obviously having Gareth Ely there, black belt, like, super efficient. He's taught me things that, like, concepts that I would have never found out by myself, or even, like, you know, just from a different perspective. But so lucky, and just constantly leveling up. It's cool, and you can start to see it in our gym, because the people that are just coming through, they're starting to get to a point where you're like, oh man, that that's some quality athlete right there. And you'll see a few more come behind me too. There's some talent coming out of our gym, bro.
Yeah, man, that's good. Hey, would you say, because you train both at, I think you said you train in the morning at CKB and then you train in the evening at Combat Academy, is that right?
Yep. So I cross train at City. I go there in the mornings, and then obviously sparring and the wrestling stuff, that I can fit between my classes at Combat. So it's cool. I get to train with people and know that the level that I'm training at is the highest level that you can be at. So it gives me heaps of confidence. I guess that's where most of it comes from these days. It's just having those people as coaches and training partners. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I'm just blessed, bro. I'm just real blessed.
And CKB has like a system, right? How far along would you say are you within that system of striking and everything in MMA? Would you say you've got heaps to learn still? Move it along, or how's it feel?
I don't think I've learned a quarter of what any of them could teach me. There's a lot to know, bro. There's a lot to know, and there's uh, intricacies in each part of the system. So you can learn like a overview of how the system works, and then between that there's layers and more layers and more layers and more layers, and as you go down the road, you realize the more you don't know.
That's yeah, right.
And the more like, because obviously each technique you can't just do it. You have to be more than competent at it. You have to be able to do it without thinking, and by knowing the timing and like the range that you need and all those things before the moment happens, and then having to do that thing just so naturally, like that takes a long time. As I was saying, the fruit's only just starting to come to the surface, because it I think like it takes 2 years just for the system to sink in, and then you realize, oh, that's how it works. So let me put these things together and try. Oh, yeah, okay, now I can try and add this in, and then oh, yeah. When then you get taught something new from the coaches, and then you're like, okay, where does this? So it's like a never-ending puzzle that I hope I never solve, because it's what keeps me excited every day to wake up and get into the gym. So yeah.
Yeah, well, this has been developed, man, over many years, right? You've got guys like Lolo and, flowing on the way that they're thinking and analyzing fighting and how to improve, and then through to Eugene, and then from Eugene through to Dan and you guys. And yeah, it just keeps evolving, I guess.
Yeah, and everyone gets their finger in the pie and puts their little perspective on it, and that creates even more intricacies in the system, because yeah, you just these guys are real smart, bro. No matter what anyone wants to say about fighters, or I'll just say about my team, they're not simple individuals. And it's once you start figuring out the system that you're like, whoa, this thing is like, there's a lot to it, and like you're picking apart moments,
Something I want to also touch on is that when you're younger, around 15, your mother shipped you out of New Zealand because you were stirring up too much shit, right? And you went to Australia. And where did you go over there, bro? Where did you kick off over there?
So yeah. She found out I was getting into trouble after stuff happened with my old man, and she was just like, "You need a fresh start, get away from all the trouble." So yeah, sent me over to Brisbane. I ended up in Caboolture, so it's like a pretty hood. It's like a pretty hood town ish, Caboolture, um, Bogan, guess you would call it. But it was cool. I started playing league over there, and made a couple teams, and that's how I actually got sent to do jiu-jitsu and be an MMA fighter. One of my coaches just told me, he's like, "Look, you could do this as a sport." He's like, "But every time you come here, you just try and fight people." He's like, "Why don't you go and actually train to be a fighter?" And I was like, "You can do that?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, sent me down to this gym, bro, and yeah, the rest is history.
Bro, in Caboolture, did you know Isaac Hardman at all or no?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I fucking run into Isaac. I got some stories about Isaac, but I'll keep those to myself. But yeah, fuck. He him. So he fights out of Nitro Boxing. My good mate, Dave Chan. He also fights out of Nitro Boxing, and yeah, it's an eventful place, bro. There's a reason why Isaac's a fighter. Like that place kind of is just like home. It breeds. It's the environment that breeds the alpha male, but I think it's out of fear, because you just fucking you walk the streets, like someone's gonna try and fight you. The whole culture there is similar to our culture, where they love a good scrap, punch on. They love a good punch on. I went to a birthday party there when I was like 17, and I had like 200 people trying to attack me and shit. That place is nuts, bro. But it was fun. It was good to be there as a teenager, and that's where I met my missus. My missus is from Caboolture, or she went to that school. And yeah, I got a lot of good mates from over there, so it was fun. It was fun. Then I ended up at Infinity Martial Arts, and that's how I met Paulie, who I'm gonna fight in like 7 weeks. I
Yeah,
met
yeah.
him. Yeah, I met him at Infinity Martial Arts. So that was a few years ago now, 10-ish years ago.
Yeah. So talking on that, bro, Paul Logar fighting September 3rd, XFC 58, bro. So you guys are mates, is it?
Yeah, well, we actually we trained together for years, bro. We trained together for a while. He trains out of South Brisbane Infinity, Sassam and Infinity, under Marcus. and there's a few other boys there that are pretty good. And yeah, we had the same wrestling coach. We did a lot of, because they had Infinity's like a franchise martial arts thing, but they all work together. So they have heaps of like in-house fight nights and um, just smoker fights they call them. And yeah, that's how we meet each other, because we've done a lot of jiu-jitsu and training for my first MMA fights and his MMA fights back then. We trained together to prep for them, you know. So yeah, and I followed his journey. I like the guy. He's a real good bloke, man. Oh, Paulie, and yeah,
Now
we're
you got to
just
put
gonna.
some dirt on each other, bro.
Well, it's just one of those things, you know. Oh shit, I pressed the wrong button.
That's all right. Just pop the camera back on, bro.
My bad. I was just getting a call. I was trying to decline it, and it accepted it. Yeah, like we're good mates. We know, but we know the game, you know. Like we're both not oblivious to the fact that we're in the same weight class. Or now we are. He's fully stepping up, and yeah, it's exciting. It's gonna be a good fight, bro. If you're a fight fan and you like a fight, this is something that you do not want to miss. Like it's gonna be absolutely. Can I swear?
Yeah, of course, bro.
It's gonna be absolutely fucking nuts, bro. Like me and Paulie, we're real fighters, you know. We'll fight anyone on any day, anywhere. Like if you roll up on the street and like I'll fight you. Like that's just my personality and my way that I am. Paulie's exactly the same. Paulie, Paulie's gonna want to just throw down. He can wrestle. He's good at jiu-jitsu. He he actually like, I don't know if he's still striking with the same guy, but he actually like loves a Brad Riddell fight style. So like that's fireworks in itself. And then yeah, obviously I like to bang. I like to wrestle. I like to go everywhere. But if you gave me a choice, yeah, I'll just stand and bang with Paulie. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fast. There's gonna be a lot happening in a very short amount of time. And I'll surprise if it gets to round two. Like we're both going in there to win. He knows what it is. I know what it is. We're gonna try and smash each other's heads off, and then we're gonna have a real hard night on the piss, because Paulie reckons he doesn't drink after fight nights. And I was like, welcome, brother. I'll invite you to the Get on the Piss Fight Club. And after we do the business, we're gonna have the party and rekindle the friendship. But yeah, it's
Maybe have a round two, bro.
oh look, hey, give us enough whiskey, anything could happen, and you won't even have to pay for the second one.
That's it. That's it. Man,
Nah, but
the poster makes me laugh, bro. You got those crazy eyes on, bro.
oh yeah, well when I weight cut, this is what they always take photos when I'm weight cutting and stuff, eh? So when I weight cut, I look a little bit drawn out, and so my eyes were sinking. But then I went the way. Oh shit, are you still there? Yeah,
Yes, Dilly, bro.
I thought you froze. But then like when I'm when I'm in that zone, you know, that to my towing realm, like I have to see, like I don't know, it's I have to open my eyes like that. It's just like we're saying with the pukana, it's just about being super aware, you know. I feel like I can take more in. I can react to things, like I'm just putting myself in that zone, so my body knows where I am, you know, what realm I'm in. And one of the boys is like, fuck, Tony needs to get off the glass Barbie. In the comment section, I was like, yeah, well, it wasn't the greatest shot of me, eh? And then Paulie, I've seen another comment of someone said to Paulie, you look like 14 and 44 at the same time. And I was just cracking up, eh? Fuck.
That's funny, bro. Hey, so you mentioned before that you're feeling in great shape. You're also thinking about a move to featherweight. What's your plans for the year, bro, for now and the future?
Uh Honestly, I have no idea, bro. I just train, try and learn what I can, and put what I learn into practice, you know. So there's a good opportunity for me to see because Paulie's gonna bring the fight. You know, he's not gonna be as hesitant, in my opinion, as these other people. So I feel like he's gonna put the pressure on, make me work, and this is gonna be good for me. So I get to use things in my style that I haven't got to use yet, and techniques that I've been trying to hone, and I haven't really been able to put them into practice. So yeah, look forward to a real barn burner of a fight. It's gonna go down. You ain't gonna want to go get a drink. You ain't gonna want to go to the toilet. You ain't gonna want to text your missus back. All you're gonna want to do is sip on your beer and watch some magic happen, because it's gonna be good, bro. It's gonna be real good.
Awesome. I followed him a bit when he fought Stephen Erceg for the title not that long ago, right? And talking about checking your level, bro. You know, if you beat him, you're knocking on the door of a eternal sort of title level, and then Stephen Erceg's knocking on the door of contender UFC. So it's a good measuring stick, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like same like with the situation with Paulie. We're at the stage of our career. We don't want an easy fight. We don't want to, check if we can handle it with the big boys. We just want to give us our swing, bro. Chuck the ball, give us our swing, because that's why I followed Paulie's journey. Like, I believe that he can make it. I believe I can make it, and this is the opportunity for us to show that we're both on that level. Paulie's come after the title. I'm here just to knock heads over until they give me a shot, and I'll just keep doing that, bro. And I know that Paul's a good dance partner, and it's gonna put everyone on notice when I do what I do. I don't want to say too much because he's my friend, but yeah, he's a shit concreter apparently.
Right, bro. We've kind of covered most of the topics I want to talk about, but I got 10 quick questions. Is that all right, bro? Just answer them quickly. No need to go into too much detail, because I'm going to probably put them together with a few of the other guys I've asked these questions. First one, guys that such as yourself training every day, you have good tips for motivation, bro. So what's a tip for motivating yourself to get to the gym and that?
Day naps. Just a little granny nap around lunchtime, after lunch. I don't know, just boost the testosterone, I guess. It helps you not feel like shit and all strung out. So you're gonna find motivation where you want it, but I think those kind of things like eating well, and everyone says eating well and recovery, naps, sleeping, bro. Get a good 45 minutes in, and you'll bounce back real quick.
Okay, bro. Next one, tips for true health, bro. Like true health as in, it doesn't have to just be about fitness, can be about other things. What do you think? What are tips?
Feed your mind good shit. We absorb a lot of information in this day and age. A lot of it is negative because that's what catches our conscious mind. It's just all clickbait, bro. Feed yourself good shit, and you'll think good thoughts, you'll feel good feelings, and you'll do good things. That's the program that you're set to, whether you like it or not.
Cool. Next one, I think you might have a few, but see if you can narrow it down to one. Best street fight story?
Yeah, all right then. I think after one of my title fights, just the recent ones, I don't know if it was Nick or Logan. Might have been Nick Thornton. I flew back into Auckland, got picked up by my cousin. Our other cousin had broken his leg, so and he'd been training with us. I wanted to go take the belt over and just show him some love. And yeah, I ended up getting stepped out by this guy. I was just sitting on the fence, no shirt on, fucking drinking. I was still drinking from the night before. And yeah, this dude just starts yelling at me from the road, and I was like, this is their hood. This is not my hood. This is their hood. I'll do something about it. And they just kind of laughed it off. And then he come back again for like half an hour. He was just harassing me. It's like 130, 40 kilos, bro. 6 foot fucking 4. Big motherfucker. And then I just got sick of it. I got through half a bottle of whiskey, and I was like, fuck this cunt, bro. The bro's like, don't worry about it. Just leave it. And I was like, nah, fuck it. So I went out and just because I started fainting and I was like, he's not reacting. I was like, oh, he can't even fight. Just bridged in a couple jabs, feinted the jab, a couple low kicks, had him on one leg, and then just fucking overhand left hook and just diced his whole eye, split his whole eye. He was like bleeding out of his fucking eyebrows into his eye. And I was like, yo, done. Like we're good, bro. Fuck, leave me alone. Then he just keeps going, like tries to chase me and shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? So I feinted the left hook and he ducked, like, because he just bent over because he didn't know how else to move. I just held his head down and just rammed his face straight into the ground. Jumped on top, just threw a couple, just, you know, stay the fuck away from me punches. And yeah, then the dude's brother grabbed me. And then yeah, fuck, my cousins. Fair to say I haven't been invited back to that house, but nah, I'm joking. They're all good. But yeah, it was like I hadn't had a fight for 6 months. I can't remember. It must have been Nick Thornton because of COVID. I hadn't had a fight in 6 months, and I had two in the space of 12 hours.
Shit.
Won them both, by the way. But yeah, don't get in the street fight, guys. It's not worth it.
And on the same topic, bro, what's the best street fight technique you would say?
Well, if you're getting rushed, you only understand this if you go to city. A backwards over on a hook. If you're the one instigating it, overhand left hook into southpaw, just commit. just run in and swing, you know, because the odds are forever in your favor if you're bold, but they're also not in your favor if you're running around with your chin up. So either commit or get on the back foot and just swing as well. That's my advice.
Fair enough, bro. Hey, if you could only learn one martial art, what would it be?
Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu saved my life because it made me a lot calmer as a person, because every time you be aggressive, it fucks you up and you get put in bad positions and you get choked out or your arm broken. So that actually saved me when I was a teenager, because it helped me calm down and realize like being aggressive isn't everything. Because I got into a lot of street fights as a kid, so being aggressive was everything. You know, if you're attacking, you're winning. But yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Good. True value of learning martial arts or MMA?
True value? Peace. Peace. It gives you peace, bro. Because without it, my life would be chaos. That's what it's given me. That's the true value of martial arts.
Cool. A couple of silly questions to finish. Someone gives you an elephant. You can't sell it or give it away. What do you do with it?
Fuck, ride it around, 100%. That's not animal abuse though, eh? Is it? Is it?
Oh, really? People ride them, bro. They're strong.
Yeah. They're good. They're good. Hey, I'm not a big man, so I ride horses. An elephant be fine. I'll feed it. I'll look after you, elephant. Be good.
I'm sure an elephant won't even feel any human sitting on its back, to be honest. They're so strong, eh?
Yeah.
Number 8, compare yourself to an animal. What would it be and why?
If I was gonna be an animal, I'd be a horse. I just love their spirit and they got mad personalities. They taught me how to deal with people, I reckon. Yeah.
Describe
smart thing. They're real smart fucking horses. Horses are real smart.
Smarto. Describe the purpose of MMA to someone from another planet.
To make sure that the other person can't go for beers.
They're going to get confused on that one. Hey, last question, bro. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Francis Ngannou's or 1 10-foot tall-sized Francis Ngannou?
One.
I'll
go. One man's chink in the armor is easier to find than what did you say, 10,000?
100.
100. Yeah, you just have to find one chink in the person's armor, and then you're winning. But trying to find 100 of those, it's a hard task.
True, man. Most people actually pick the 100. They reckon they'll just be punting them everywhere. But a couple of you guys by diamond, etc., pick one. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Looking forward to your fight coming up. Looking forward to you being successful in the future, bro. And I'll be definitely following your next few fights, eh?
Cheers, brother. It was a pleasure and appreciate it. And yeah, I'll get it done. September 3rd, XFC 58, Mansfield Tavern. We on.
Cool. All right, bro. Thanks.